Feng didn't give it any chance. After all, this boss has a criminal record. When the fight just started, it suddenly changed its face and launched a surprise attack on Feng. How could Feng trust it? Since you have the ability to attack me suddenly, then let's see if you have the ability to become a mount after death like Samiya. Feng sneered. As the judgment blade in his hand passed through the boss's body, the damage of the instantaneous explosion caused the boss's body to be shattered, and another system prompt sounded in the minds of all players around the world. On the boss's grim face, the pure white pupils were split into several halves, and the shock and incredible expression on his face were all split. Swish! As the boss died, white light flashed around Feng, and he reappeared in the valley outside the ruins of Delhi. The spherical mirror in front of him, that is, the main body of the Kesha magic mirror, finally shattered. The appearance of Feng and the shattering of the magic mirror made the players of Tianzhu country outside the valley not far away all stare with wide eyes and look shocked. Just now, many of them were still celebrating with each other, saying that Shadow was actually killed by them, by the magic mirror of their country. But in the blink of an eye, the killing prompt of the legendary boss came. Then, Shadow reappeared in front of them. The black wings representing death behind him spread out casually, and the white mask on his face had no emotion. The black smoke around the figure moved with the wind, as if bringing death to this country. In front of Shadow, the spherical magic mirror with a diameter of several meters cracked towards the mirror surface around it, like a spider web, shattered. He's back again. Mirror. Mirror is actually a legendary boss. Mirror is broken. Mirror is no match for Shadow. Shadow is so handsome. Shut up. Do you want to betray your country? Feng thought about it, and the process of killing Keshem Mirror was relatively smooth this time. In the end, although the mirror spirit of the mirror was not considered a summoned creature and could not receive the 21 times damage increase, it did not have the 32 times adaptive damage reduction, so in the end, Feng still killed it instantly with a wave of instant destruction, and the damage value was completely sufficient. It is said that the Master Tuchar in the previous life led the most elite team of Tianzhu Kingdom to kill 5 Shadows of Kashem in succession before finally killing the mirror spirit, but I just killed 2 Shadows of Kash, and the mirror spirit did not summon more shadow aggregates. I am afraid that those shadow aggregates are all made up of players swallowed by this magic mirror. The more you swallow, the more Shadows of Kash you can create. Feng still felt a little emotional. If this magic mirror swallows tens of thousands of people, wouldn't it be necessary to kill dozens of Shadows of Kashem in succession? It will become more and more difficult to kill the magic mirror. Fortunately, I came early. Feng turned around and walked towards the group of Tianzhu players next to the valley. The magic mirror is solved, and it is time to collect the balance of the 25,000 years of life. As for the spoils of the Kasha magic mirror, Feng had already released the greedy hand on the mirror spirit before he left the mirror spirit space, and took all the spoils. After finishing the job, he was teleported back to the valley and came to the cracked and shattered Kasha magic mirror body. At this time, Master Bazaar and Chandur and other Indian officials all looked a little unhappy. When Feng came over, Chandur and other officials stepped back several steps, leaving Master Bazaar to face Feng alone. Obviously, their follow-up plan was about to be implemented. Everyone else stepped back, leaving Master Bazaar and the translator boy alone. For a moment, Master Bazaar, who was wrapped in a white turban, looked at Feng, pointed directly at him, and said a bunch of incomprehensible Hindi. His expression looked very serious. What is he saying? Feng looked at the translator Babi and asked calmly. At this time, the young man Babi was a little autistic and trembling, but he still translated Master Bazal's words truthfully. The master said that we paid our lives to let you come here so that you can rescue our compatriots who were swallowed by the magic mirror. Now you have broken the magic mirror, and our compatriots are gone. According to the agreement, the balance cannot be paid to you. This young man has a strong desire to survive. In fact, Master Basil's words did not mean the honorific you when translated, but Babi still translated it directly into the word you. But no matter how he picked the words, the meaning of this sentence made Feng very dissatisfied, even a bit shocked. Can there be such a statement? You asked me to come and deal with the magic mirror, in order to rescue the players swallowed by the magic mirror, instead of destroying the magic mirror. To this, Feng could only say, 6. This reason for defaulting on the debt is really fresh and unconventional. Feng raised his hand and changed the mask on his face to demand life. Turn on the special effect, demand life. Then it was changed to buy life money. Turn on the special effect, buy life money. The scene of his face change made Master Bajar, the translator Babi, and the official personnel such as Chandur, who retreated to the distance, all stunned. What kind of operation is this? So before the other people could react, Feng held 2 daggers in both hands. He didn't even turn invisible, and crossed his left and right hands to slash at Master Bajar. 2 normal attacks in an instant, but no damage was caused, because Master Bazar's body of repentance can absorb the first 3 attacks of any enemy. But, although Feng's attack failed to cause damage, but Master Bazar still widened his eyes and received a system notification of his death on the spot. Because with just 2 simple cuts, the instant death gauge on Bazar's head was directly filled up. Bang! Master Bazaar stared blankly and fell to the ground. At this moment, there was a dead silence around. No one expected that Shadow would act so quickly. You know, Master Bazaar is one of the strongest players in their Tianzhu country. He was killed in an instant. Even Shadow didn't even use invisibility. Moreover, this moment triggered the two mask special effects that Qinfeng had just opened. A life demand made Master Bazaar explode all the tradable lifespan on his body. A life purchase money made him enter a state where he could not be resurrected. According to Qinfeng's level 30 and Master Bazaar's level 19, the upper limit of the life buying money that Qinfeng can set is 156.16, 4 years. In other words, he needs to give Qinfeng more than 15,000 years of life before he can be resurrected. Of course, when the old guy fell to the ground, Qinfeng found that this old guy really exploded gold coins. Such a big life light ball. Damn, this must be 70,000 or 80,000 years of life. Qinfeng looked at the life light ball on the old guy and was stunned. Even if the other party has all the life, there shouldn't be so much, right? And Qinfeng didn't understand. How dare this person bring so much life to find him to die? But Qinfeng soon knew, because the translator next to him was closed. He screamed in consciousness when he saw the situation. Impossible. This is impossible. Master Bazaar has a ghost fire bell on him. How can he explode life? Will-o'-the-wisp bell. This thing exploded from the limited time gold level boss, Golden Ghost Ship. This boss randomly appears in any corner of the godforsaken continent, and its level is the same as the level of the area where it appears. It can be said that the Will-o'-the-Wisp bell was not originally exclusive to Qinfeng. It is normal for other players to obtain it. However, this thing is completely ineffective when facing the Soul-Seeking Mask. Because the Soul-Seeking Mask is a legendary mask, its effect naturally crushes the gold level Will-o'-the-Wisp bell when the effects conflict with each other. The higher level effect will naturally take effect. Obviously, this is why the value of the Will-o'-the-Wisp bell is not particularly high. Moreover, when players usually level up, most players will not carry too much life on them, so the value of the Will-o'-the-Wisp bell is not as high as imagined. At this moment, when Master Bazaar exploded with 70,000 to 80,000 years of life, all the players from Tianzhu around were stunned. The Will-o'-the-Wisp bell did not work. What's going on? What surprised them even more was, wait, Master Bazaar's body didn't disappear. No way. In order to deal with the shadow, the master specially prepared the skill of exploding corpses. As long as he died, his body would explode. But why didn't it work? It has to be said that these Tianzhu players are really insidious. Let Master Bazaar provoke Qinfeng. At the same time, Master Basil himself was also prepared. Once killed by Qinfeng, his body would explode, which would not give Qinfeng the opportunity to bloom and absorb life. At the same time, his Willow Fire Bell could also protect him and prevent his life from exploding after his death. But they never expected Qinfeng just got the Soul-Seeking Mask, which perfectly restrained the Will-o'-the-Wisp bell. He even got the Life-Buying Money Mask. The effect of this mask prevents the target from being resurrected before paying enough life. Simply put, if you don't give enough life, then you are not dead. Since you are not dead, his body will naturally not trigger the death explosion. Only when other players help him and pay him enough life, his body will be completely dead and explode. As for who the players around him are when his body explodes, Qinfeng doesn't know and doesn't care. Of course, just when Qinfeng killed Master Bazaar without any nonsense, I saw a burst of blood-red smoke appearing around Master Bazaar and then spreading towards Qinfeng, slowly covering him. This scene made the surrounding Tianzhu players look a little excited and fanatical. The master is using his power. Shadow is going to die. Let's make a bet. How long can Shadow last in the hands of the killing executioner? I bet half a minute. I think Shadow is still very powerful. He can last a minute. Last time my father was chased by the killing executioner, he was killed in one blow. I think Shadow can't be 60 times stronger than my father. He can't last a minute. Even the translator Bobby ran away in a panic, because they all know. Master Bazaar has more than 500,000 killing points. His profession is Confessor, which will not be affected by killing points. But as long as he dies, half of the killing points will be transferred to the murderer, which means that now Shadow will have 200,000 or 300,000 killing points. That's converted into dozens of killer levels. It can directly attract the killing executioner. As long as he is killed by the killing executioner, he will go to jail. During the jail term, he cannot use any skills in reality. It is equivalent to being useless, unable to develop and restricted. He will be killed sooner or later. That's right. This Shadow has offended too many people. If we can get rid of him and witness this scene, we will be heroes of Tianzhu. A group of people looked at the scene expectantly, but they were very timid and hid in the woods not far away. Soon, Qinfeng was covered by a blood-red fog, which turned into killing value and superimposed on him. He glanced at the woods not far away and saw that many Tianzhu players were looking at this side with expectation, as if there was a group of mice in the woods. I'll deal with them later. Qinfeng ignored those Tianzhu players for the time being. Instead, he wanted to kill the killing executioner who was about to appear with all his heart and soul, because although he despised the killing executioner strategically, The killing executioners in each region had different skills and methods. The situation must be taken seriously, otherwise it is likely to capsize in the gutter. Although it is fun to keep frying fish and bullying weak players, if you immerse yourself in it and lose your awe of strength, then you will not be far from capsizing, and something will happen sooner or later. When Qinfeng's killer layers continue to stack and surge, just behind him, a fat blood-red figure suddenly appeared. The blood-red figure, holding a cross knife, attacked Qinfeng directly from behind. At an extremely fast speed, the blood-red cross knife formed a blood-red whirlwind, and at the same time, dozens of knife lights attacked Qinfeng's back. But soon, the attack from behind is invalid. The attack from behind is invalid. The attack from behind is invalid. In the field of vision of the killing executioner, a series of prompts emerged from Qinfeng's head, making him look stunned. What the hell is this? The attack from behind is invalid. This is order. The killing executioner reacted immediately. Qinfeng was a little surprised when he was attacked. The killing executioner was very fast. If it weren't for the order effect of the despicable Terminator, he would have been hit first. After all, Qinfeng didn't know where the opponent would appear from, and the speed of the killing executioner definitely had the advantage of first move. But because of the opponent's killing habits, he liked to sneak attack from behind. The opponent's first move advantage was ruined. Attacks from behind, whether it is damage or higher level affixes, will be invalidated. Before, when I destroyed my shadow, I consumed divinity to offset this order effect. Qinfeng was not sure whether the killing executioner had divine weapons, so he was not careless. After he was attacked, the black deathwings behind him spread out and flew directly upwards. Want to run. So what if there is order, as long as I attack you from the front? How many blows can a fragile assassin like you withstand? The killing executioner sneered, and the blood-red fog behind him condensed into wings, and instantly turned into a blood-red stream of light, chasing Qinfeng. The speed of both sides was too fast. For a moment, the Tianzhu players in the field instantly lost the trace of the two people. Where did they go? I don't know. They seem to have flown into the sky. They are so fast. I can't even see them clearly with my 400 points of agility. Hiss. Their speed. They must have at least 2,000 points of agility. Right? Idiot? 2,000 points of agility can't reach this speed. They are twice the speed of sound. According to our Professor Chanju's research, to have twice the speed of sound, you need at least 50 out in agility. Shadow has 50 in agility. Too scary. You are also an idiot. That is the speed of naked running. In fact, there are various speed bonuses in the game. If you stack 100% speed bonus, you only need 600 points of agility to reach twice the speed of sound. Although the general environment of Tianzhu is a bit difficult to describe, but there are still high-end talents regarding the relationship between agility and speed. The officials of various countries have long studied it. When Qinfeng and the killing executioner disappeared, the group of Tianzhu players all talked about it and fell into shock and discussion. It is difficult to stack 100% movement speed, not to mention 600 points of agility. They looked at each other. Shadow, is this still a human? If he really has such high agility, we don't even have a fraction of his fraction. At this stage, for ordinary players, 400 points of agility are already beyond most players. 500 points of agility are already the top of the top. And according to their calculation, Shadow's agility is more than 600 points. How can this not shock them? Of course, in fact, Qinfeng's agility is less than 6, children in normal state. But the key is that he is wearing sonic shoes. In addition, Deathwing's flying speed is 120% of running speed. Qinfeng's speed has reached a level that ordinary people can hardly imagine, let alone catch up. Of course, this does not include the killing executioner. Killing executioner Diarbad Lafie. Qinfeng spread his 6 wings and flew in the sky. He looked back and saw that the fat, blood-red figure had caught up. Killing executioner at level 50. For Qinfeng, who is now at level 30, it is definitely a threat. Killing Executioner has a series of basic template abilities. They can see through any level of invisibility and can catch up with enemies of any speed. If the enemy's speed exceeds their speed will also increase accordingly. But it is obvious. Qinfeng flew away like this not to escape, but to find an opportunity to fight back. Above the clouds, blood-red flying knives flew up from below Qinfeng, but they did not attack Qinfeng from behind. Instead, they flew around him from both sides and flew to his front. And then these flying knives exploded. At this moment, Qinfeng was shrouded in a blood-red fog. Fortunately, Qinfeng turned around before the flying knives exploded. The explosive attacks of those flying knives all hit his back and were completely ineffective. But at the same time, a blood-red cross knife swept up from bottom to top, attacking his chest. Those explosive flying knives were completely the strategy of the killing executioner. When Qinfeng turned around to avoid the explosion of those flying knives, the real killing move of the killing executioner emerged. The blood-red cross knife hit Qinfeng's chest directly with lightning speed. In an instant, Qinfeng's layers of shields were shattered. This killing executioner named Diabad has a super shield breaking ability, although Qinfeng didn't ignore the shield like Qinfeng. The dozens of layers of shields on Qinfeng didn't have much effect. Fortunately, The hit correction of this killing executioner was not enough. Qinfeng directly determined that the blood red cross knife was dodge. Little guy, your dodge is quite high. The fat Daibad sneered, not taking Qinfeng's dodge seriously at all, because the killing executioner killed people by relying on the instant death affix. Even if the physical attack was dodged, the upper affix attached to the attack could still easily kill the opponent. A level 30 little Kurami can be killed with just a few hits, just when Daibad thought so. Suddenly his face changed, because he found that there was no instant death scale above the head of the human assassin player in front of him. Of course, he didn't know. Qinfeng now has the bloodline of the Deathwing Angel and is completely immune to the instant death affix. Moreover, even if he is not immune, Qinfeng can have extremely high resistance to instant death, and he is not easily killed by the killing executioner. Of course, no matter how high the resistance is, it is not as good as immunity. The current killing executioner Daibad is in such a state of shock, because he knows several ways to be immune to the instant death affix, but these methods are obviously not something that a player of level 30 can achieve. At this moment, Qinfeng holds 2 daggers, and 7 death pupils appear on his mask. At this moment, his hit correction has doubled 7-fold. While ensuring that the attack will not be dodged, 1,000 blades break. Daibad immediately dodged when he saw this. With his speed, he can actually avoid most of the slashes. But unfortunately, Qinfeng's counterattack and his attack were launched almost at the same time. While Daibad was still shocked by Qin when Feng was not affected by the instant death affix, Qinfeng's attack had already arrived. Daibad dodged reflexively, physically. He did avoid Qinfeng's 1,000 blades break, but Qinfeng's more than 10 times weakness hit correction made him seem to be dodging, and a full 70 or 80 slashes all fell on him. Daibad had a shield that prevented him from getting hurt, but it was shattered by Qinfeng's sword. The shield collapsed. Then, it was a series of swords hitting the flesh instantly. A series of damage numbers appeared up above Daibad's head, according to the damage value. This skill alone could kill Daibad. But Daibad instantly turned into a pool of blood and entered an invincible state, resisting dozens of subsequent slashes and avoiding being killed instantly by Qinfeng's skill. At the same time, countless blood-colored flying knives were released from his pool of blood. Qinfeng subconsciously turned around and faced the other party with his back, but Daibad sneered. The killing executioner. Daibad is temporarily unaffected by the order of the despicable Terminator. Yata. The killing executioner Daibad is temporarily unaffected by the order of the life forbidden. Tata. This guy really has a trick up his sleeve. He has a certain divine weapon on him, and when it explodes, it consumes divinity to offset the order effect of Qinfeng. Then, thousands of blood-colored flying knives swept in from behind Qinfeng. This is the standard ultimate move of the killing executioner. It is said that the cooling time is as long as 1 month, but once this move is used, it is almost a sure kill. Not to mention how many instant death scales can be instantly stacked by thousands of blood-colored flying knives. Even if Qinfeng is immune to the instant death affix, the damage of so many flying knives is enough to smash him to death. No matter how high the dodge is, it is impossible to dodge 100%. If thousands of flying knives really fall on Qinfeng, at least dozens of them will hit him. And the damage of the killing executioner is naturally extremely high. At that time, Qinfeng's health of more than 100,000 will not be enough. However, Qinfeng obviously had prepared for this move of the opponent. When he turned his back and planned to lean on the opponent to resist this move, he was already mentally prepared. When the system prompt came, Qinfeng directly used a shadow jump, instantly shuttled to a place 300 meters away. Want to run. Daibad, who turned into a pool of blood, sneered, and saw that the thousands of flying knives actually changed direction and had chased Qinfeng, and with tracking. Qinfeng was shocked, but the impact was not great, because he now has 88 opportunities to use the shadow jump continuously. Flash. Flash! No matter how fast those flying knives track, they are not as fast as Qinfeng's shadow jump. When Qinfeng released several shadow jumps in a row, he had already brought those flying knives far away, and then returned with a few more flashes. You are the only one who can turn into a blood pool. Shadow Blade. Qinfeng directly killed the shadow and let the shadow clone release the shadow blade. Puff, puff, puff. Although these shadow blades could not cause damage to the invincible blood pool, soon, one of Qinfeng's shadow clones turned into the state of the blood pool. This is stealing the opponent's state directly. So the fat killing executioner was suddenly sucked away from the invincible state of the blood pool and returned to human form. A little confused. What's going on? Am I not invincible in the blood pool? What happened? Before he could react, the next moment, Qinfeng mud a shadow jump and instantly flashed behind him. Bang! Players such as Chandur from Tianju Official were discussing in the wood, discussing how long it would take to hear the news of Shadow's death. Suddenly, the sound of a heavy object falling to the ground attracted their attention. They looked towards the ground. On the layers of dead leaves in the woods, a fat blood-red head with wide eyes fell from the sky and rolled on the ground for several circles. This is the killing executioner just now. Is his head gone? Swish, as a black shadow descended. Qinfeng. with his black 6 wings of death spread out and a white mask on, fell from the sky and appeared in front of the group of people indifferently. When the head of the killing executioner fell from the sky, Qin Feng's figure followed closely and fell from the sky. All the Tianju players present once again opened their eyes wide, their faces full of disbelief. What's going on? How is it possible? The killing executioner was executed. Oh hell, I must be dazzled. This head is fake. I count to 3, and Shadow will be killed by the real executioner. 3, 2, 1. Oh shit. Shadow is still there. Run, run. This Shadow is real. After a short silence, the dozens of Tianju players were in chaos. When they realized that even the killing executioner was killed by the Shadow, their minds were completely confused. Their brains, which were not working well to begin with, became even more confused. Even the translator next to Qin Feng, Baby, reacted quickly and summoned a big black duck immediately. He rode on the duck's back and tried to run away with a quack, but Qin Feng pulled him back. Qin Feng lifted Baby's collar and sighed. Why are you running? Baby was estimated to be 5 meters tall, with short hair and dark skin. He didn't struggle when he was caught, but lowered his head. I don't know. Sir, you stay, Qin Feng said to him and put him down. In his previous life, Qin Feng did learn the languages of many countries, but Hindi was not included. Because if you really want to deal with Indian players, you can basically speak English, but the English accent of Indian players is very outrageous, and it's hard to describe if it's not necessary. Qin Feng really doesn't want to communicate with them in English. It's okay to have a translator next to him. The most important thing is that he can find more rich targets through this guy later. Looking back at the surroundings of the grove, I saw that the fleeing Tianju players were being chased by the invisible clones of the Shadow of Sorrow, and they died suddenly one after another. In just a few seconds, not a single one was left alive. And Qin Feng sent all these people to the Land of Judgment. Each player has 10 points of divinity, and a total of 350 points of divinity are consumed, which is 500 years of life, although it may be a bit of a waste. There is no other way. Just now, Qin Feng has sent the killing executioner Diarbad to the Land of Judgment to judge this killing executioner. The upper limit of divinity is not low if it is not upgraded. Qin Feng really cannot judge the executioner. So, since I have obtained so much life in Tianju, I naturally have to make the best use of it. What is the saying? The wool comes from the sheep. Well, that's almost the same reason. It is reasonable to collect life from Tianju players and then judge them. As for the benefits brought by the trial, a little bit is enough. Qin Feng is not short of life now, and the most urgent task is to increase the divinity limit of the Blade of Trial. Players who can follow Master Basil can't be weak, right? Although he was killed in seconds in front of Qin Feng. By comparison, he must be comparable to the level of the corpse collector at the beginning. And in the battle just now, with the death of the killing executioner, the thousands of blood-red flying knives naturally dissipated. Originally, Qin Feng also tried to directly shadow jump and hit it, relying on the invincible moment to knock those flying knives away, but found that the shuttle state is equivalent to being in another dimension, and it is impossible to collide with those flying knives. This guy still underestimates me. Otherwise, he still has many tricks to use. Or is it that Tianju's killing executioner is weaker? Qin Feng made a slight comparison. In the late period of the previous life, someone in Daxia had fought against the killing executioner. At that time, that guy's combat power was much stronger than Qin Feng at that time. Even if he is not as good as Qin Feng now, he will not be too far behind, but that guy was finally killed by the killing executioner. In comparison, this killing executioner named Diarbad is a bit weak. Or will the strength of the killing executioner also increase with the average strength of the players? Qin Feng made a slight guess, but he was too lazy to think about it. Anyway, he was immune to instant death, and beating the executioner was like a father beating his son. In short, we will know when we go in to judge the killing executioner, and maybe we will get some more information. It was just a moment. This small forest was quiet. But Qin Feng checked the battle record and found a blind spot. Yendu, what about you? This guy is the official representative of Tianju players. He should be the strongest one among this group of people, and the one that Qin Feng is most looking forward to judging? Unexpectedly, this guy was not killed. Hearing Qin Feng's question, the translator next to him, Baby, immediately opened the friend list, checked it, and then said, Mr. Kendur is offline. Qin Feng had to admire that guy. This reaction was too fast. Thinking back, it should be that the guy went offline directly after seeing the head of the killing executioner fall. Very fast, no hesitation at all. What a talent. Qin Feng was quite emotional. Just then, the guy Baby suddenly said, Mr. Anananing, Mr. Chandur sent me a message. He said that Master Bazal gave you more than 70,000 years of life, which has exceeded the balance to be paid. You shouldn't kill people again. After saying this, Baby immediately emphasized, Sir, this is not what I said. It was Mr. Chandur who said it. When Qin Feng heard these words, he sneered. Bazaar 70,000-year lifespan was obtained by my ability. So what is the final payment? After saying this, Qin Feng smiled and looked at Bobby. But it's okay, if you don't pay officially. I will go to collect the interest myself. I think the name of your guild looks like a folk guild, not an official guild. Baby was stunned, then nodded. Yes. I was temporarily pulled here to be a translator. Heinfeng nodded. Okay. In your ruins of Delhi, are there any particularly arrogant guys? Tell me. I will get rid of them for you. After hearing Qinfeng's word, Baby didn't react at first, but soon he realized something. Isn't Shadow asking him to make a death list as long as he reports a name? Shadow will kill it. For a moment, Baby's heartbeat accelerated. Great. So great. To say that, usually, there are many people that Bobby doesn't like, and Bobby represents the civilian class of Tianzhu. And in Tianzhu, the class contradictions are very serious, and they are even worse in the era of God's Forsaken game. The main reason is that many civilians have gained power and spontaneously organized many guilds. These guilds are usually suppressed by both the official and the confession guild. It goes without saying that the official and the confession guild formed by Master Basil is powerful, and there are many crazy believers under his command. What he did even violated the original religious beliefs of many people in Tianzhu. Just a few seconds later, Bobby named several names, gritting his teeth. These people are very strict with us. Our guild has to pay tribute every day, otherwise we are not allowed to enter and exit certain leveling areas. Qinfeng nodded. Okay, where are they now? Baby was stunned and scratched his head. I don't know. Qinfeng sighed. If you don't know, can't you ask? Ask in your guild. And if you can't ask Chandul. Isn't Chandul an official representative? He must know. Baby's eyes lit up. He nodded immediately. I understand, Mr. Shadow. It can be said that this young man is still a bit spiritual. He immediately asked some of the official Tianzhu strongmen in the guild channel about the leveling locations. These strongmen are used to being domineering. Some were originally official police, military and the like, before the godforsaken game came. They ate and drank for free, and even prostituted everywhere. There was a lot of public resentment, and the guild where Bobby was located was not small, with a scale of tens of thousands of people. Someone immediately provided the information he needed. At the same time, Baby also chatted with Chandur directly through the communication crystal ring, asking him to provide some strong positions of the Confession Guild. I have to say that this little guy knows a lot. There are two big mountains on the heads of the common people in Tianzhu. One is the official, and the other is Master Bajar's Confession Guild, and both sides are competing and dislike each other. So, ask Chandur for the high-level coordinates of the Confession Guild. Ask the guild for the high-level coordinates of the Tianzhu official. Kill two birds with one stone? Of course. In fact, religious beliefs are very common in Tianzhu, but Master Bajar, Confession Guild has deteriorated faith and become a powerful force that oppresses the people. What they do in normal times has completely violated the people's beliefs. Just at this time when class contradictions are increasingly conflicting in the capital Delhi, Qinfeng arrived. Since the other party has activated the racial talent defaulting on debts, then it would be unreasonable for Qinfeng not to take action. So, the coordinates of some strongmen were continuously sent to Qinfeng. Some official strongmen and strongmen of the Confession Guild in the ruins of Delhi did not realize that something was wrong. Due to the arrival of the silent era, communication was inconvenient. The speed of information dissemination is now far less rapid than before. At this moment, the players in Tianzhu basically know that Shadow is coming. Shadow destroyed the magic mirror. They don't know what happened later. Because most of the people who know the situation are dead, it is difficult for others to realize that there is something wrong. As for Chandur, the official senior official, he is happy to take this opportunity to attack the Confession Guild. Usually, they supervise the senior leaders of the Confession Guild, and now they can get information quickly. Here at Qinfeng, many coordinates converge into a coordinate network. At this time, Osiris can finally be resurrected. Qinfeng summoned it out and started on his way directly. Such a long distance. It's too tiring to fly by myself. So I still need a means of transportation. Oh my god, I'm dying of suffocation. Osiris appeared with a big laugh and flew directly in stealth mode. Qinfeng added Baby as his friend. Let Bobby provide coordinate information at any time. Since then, the nightmare of the strong men in the ruins of Delhi, Tianzhu Kingdom, has arrived. Silently, invisible, deadly in an instant. Many official masters and high-level members of the Confession Guild were leveling up, and they suddenly disappeared, and a group of people disappeared together, without even conveying their last words before death. After Qinfeng killed them, he sent them directly to the Land of Judgment. Moreover, Qinfeng issued an order to send the target to the Land of Judgment while killing the target. In this case, the opponent's guild channel would not send a prompt that they were killed, just like when Hu Qibin was killed before. These people died and could not be resurrected. So naturally, they could not spread the news. And when the senior officials realized something was wrong, more than 130 people had been sent to Qinfeng's place of judgment, and the number was still increasing. At this time, Baby was doing something according to Qinfeng's instructions. He dragged Master Bazaar's body back to the ruins of Delhi. He threw it directly at the gate of a hiding place of the Confession Guild. The believers of the Confession Guild were shocked when they saw Master Bazaar's body. After a closer look, they actually had to pay more than 10,000 years of life to be resurrected. Hurry up and let everyone pay the money to revive the Master. At this time, Master Bazaar could not be resurrected or offline, unless they can collect enough money to buy their lives. The official representative of Tianzhu, Chandur, was happy to see the situation. but he soon found something wrong. Originally, he thought that Shadow was helping the official to fight against the Confession Guild, but he received news that even some of their official strongmen were being killed by Shadow. Fuck! Shandur felt a black screen in front of his eyes. At the same time, when the capital of Tianzhu became chaotic because of Qin Feng's arrival. Daxia. Zhonghai City. Reality. Violent area. Zhonghai second prison. In a cell surrounded by all metal walls, a long-haired girl who had lost both legs was leaning on a wheelchair, her head tilted, and her eyes lost their spirit. It was Qin Xiaoyu. She was staring blankly at the attribute panel, where her life was slipping away at 100 times the speed. Every second, it beats once. 15, 20, 45, 15, 19, 05, 15, 17, 25, 15, 15, 45. On the surface, she still has 15 hours to live. But in fact, in this violent area prison where life is passing by 100 times, there are less than 10 minutes left. Originally, she didn't even have this much time. She should have died here long ago, but she told the officials that she knew a lot about the God-forsaken game and she could cooperate with the investigation. For example, about the opening of the Nine Realm Stone Governor and some other boss. What a pity. The impression in her mind was too vague. Most of it was about Qin Feng, and very little about the boss. So, after maintaining her life and interrogating her many times, the officials concluded that this woman should have some problems with her brain. The information provided was vague, and it was even impossible to distinguish the truth from the false. Without providing any effective intelligence, Qin Xiaoyu was completely abandoned. This made her extremely desperate. Why? Why is this happening? Qin Xiaoyu stared at the metal cell walls around her with lifeless eyes, and her heart was completely dead. I was wrong. I was really wrong. I shouldn't have cut off my relationship with you. She regretted it, and she was a little unwilling. In the last 9 minutes of her life, everything that had happened in her life flashed through her mind. Before the God-forsaken game came, Qin Xiaoyu was happy. Although her parents passed away early, Han Feng took care of all the daily life at home. When Qin Xiaoyu thinks back now, it feels like it happened in her previous life. She suddenly realized, when Qin Feng was around, she could solve any situation she encountered. When did everything go wrong? Did it start when she said sever ties to Qin Feng? First, she was widowed, her idol died, then her legs were sawed off. Then she found out that Shadow was her brother Qin Feng, but he didn't react at all, and she didn't even have the chance to see Shadow again. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Qin Xiaoyu's life continued to pass. The speed of her life passing 100 times accelerated her death, and since she was in prison, no one has come to see her. She was handcuffed, forbidden to release any skills, and unable to use the communication crystal ring to contact friends. It was equivalent to her being completely isolated from the world, without any means of contacting the outside world. Why didn't Chu Yan come? Qin Xiaoyu looked at the remaining lifespan of 100 seconds in a jump and became more and more panicked. She didn't want to believe that she only had a few minutes left to live. She didn't even calculate how long she could last with a remaining lifespan of 15 hours. She leaned on the wheelchair blankly. If I had known that Qin Feng, you were Shadow, how could I have cut off my relationship with you? You didn't tell me anything, but tricked me into breaking off the relationship? It's too bullying. Even if you killed Brother Song Fei, I wouldn't blame you. She regretted it now. Regret not guessing earlier that Qin Feng was Shadow? When she was interrogated by the authorities just now, she didn't know how many times she emphasized that she was Shadow's sister. And she also listed a lot of evidence and even narrated many scenes in her memory. But it's a pity. The official didn't believe her nonsense. I'll apologize if I see Qin Feng. He won't leave me. As long as he comes to me, he will heal my legs and take me away from here. She was still expecting something unrealistic when she was about to die. At the last moment of her life, Qin Xiaoyu kept staring at the door of the cell, expecting Qin Feng to appear and take her away. But how could she note that Qin Feng was harvesting in the game area of Tianzhu? Now, all the people killed by Qin Feng were the strongmen in the ruins of Delhi, the capital of Tianzhu. The strongmen of the official, the strongmen of the Confession Guild. There are also some rich local snakes. Han Feng can gain decades or even hundreds of years of life by killing any one of them. In contrast, Qin Xiaoyu only has 15 hours left to live. These lifespans were traded to her by the authorities in order to interrogate her, but she didn't get any useful information. And all these lifespans were wasted, and Qin Xiaoyu just stared at the door. In her eyes, the metal door was her last hope. He will come. He will definitely come. But the metal door remained silent. Time passed by bit, and for Qin Xiaoyu, the last time passed very quickly. 15 hours of lifespan soon only had 10 hours left. 9 hours. Suddenly, there was a sound of unlocking outside the metal door. Hearing the slight movement, Qin Xiaoyu's excited heart and trembling hands, it was a pity that she had no feet. Otherwise, she would have rushed directly to the door. However, when the outer door opened, a window opened on the metal wall, and the person who appeared in the window was not the Shadow or Qin Feng she expected, but her best friend, Chu Yan. Chu Yan still had short hair. She was always gentle and considerate when she saw Qin Xiaoyu before. But now, Chu Yan looked a little cold when she saw Qin Xiaoyu. Chu Yan came to see me. I still have hope. She will definitely not let me die like this. Just give me a little life so that I can see the Shadow. Hope suddenly surged in Qin Xiaoyu's heart. She stretched out her handcuffed hands with difficulty, slid the wheelchair, and moved closer to the window on the wall. Chu Yan, you finally came to see me. We met for a while, and I came to see you for the last time. When Chu Yan saw her look, there was still some emotion in her eyes. Originally, this was her best friend, but now, it's a criminal who is about to die. Just now, Chu Yan still had some resentment towards Qin Xiaoyu, but when she thought that she was about to die, she was still a little touched in this world. Human life is really worthless. How much life have you brought me? Qin Xiaoyu slid his wheelchair to the window and looked at Chu Yan expectantly. Bring you life? Chu Yan was so angry that she laughed. I can come to see you because we knew each other before. Her attitude made Qin Xiaoyu a little confused. She asked uncomfortably, aren't we best friends? Chu Yan sneered. Which best friend would want to kill my parents? Qin Xiaoyu was stunned. I didn't. Chu Yan, you didn't. My parents later joined our Mengsha River Guild. Although they didn't go out to kill monsters, they have been setting up stalls in the trading area of Zhanghai City ruins to help the guild sell some equipment that guild members have killed. Speaking of this, Chu Yan looked at Qin Xiaoyu coldly. You released that epic boss, and my parents were dragged into chaos by the boss's aura at the first time, and they haven't woken up yet. They are only level 10, and their real attributes have not been extracted much. They may not be able to survive this time. I came here today. I just want to ask you, why did you activate that epic boss? Chu Yan's words fell on Qin Xiaoyu like a bolt from the blue. It shocked Qin Xiaoyu a little. She never expected that Chu Yan's parents would actually set up a stall in the trading area of Zhanghai ruins at that time. Also because of the epic boss, Nine Realms Stone Governor fell into chaos. Originally, when Qin Xiaoyu saw Chu Yan appear, she was full of hope that she could continue to live. After all, although Chu Yan is not a strong person, if she really wants to help Qin Xiaoyu, it will definitely be no problem to give her a few years of life. Mengsha River Guild, now cooperating with the official, is also developing quite well. But the hope that Qin Xiaoyu just had was shattered by Chu Yan's words. Hope. Despair. After all this time, Chu Yan's parents fell into chaos because of her. She was still looking forward to Chu Yan coming to save her. However, Qin Xiaoyu didn't seem to feel any regret. When she heard Chu Yan's questioning, she quickly calmed down and said calmly, Want to know why I opened the boss? Give me 50 days of life, and I will tell you slowly. Dream on. Chu Yan refused without hesitation. Chu Yan stared at Qin Xiaoyu with a pair of cold eyes. I know, even if you don't say it. I asked Captain Un. She said that you have been imagining that Shadow is your brother Qin Feng, and you are trying to apologize to him. So, you want to activate the epic boss? Lure Shadow over and meet Shadow. But didn't you take the initiative to break up with your brother at that time? Before the godforsaken game came, I advised you that there was no need to fall out with your brother because of this matter. But what did you say? You said that he only cares about you and is not your relative at all. Unless he takes the initiative to apologize to you, you will ignore him. You said that at the time, right? Later, Xiaomei came to see me from the Magic City, and I asked her to help divination your brother's whereabouts. In fact, Xiaomei later told me that she saw Shadow in the place she had divined before, and it seemed that Shadow had always been there, and it was very likely your brother. Qin Xiaoyu didn't react at first when she heard this, until she learned that Chu Yan seemed to know that Shadow was Qin Feng. She immediately felt hope again. You also know that Shadow is my brother. Qin Xiaoyu became excited. You find Shadow, tell him that I am waiting for him, and apologize for him on my behalf. You know how I will apologize. Find Shadow. He can save your parents. This is just a guess? Not sure, Chu Yan said coldly. Besides, how can I contact Shadow? Even if Shadow can really save my parents, why would he help me? Even if there is a way to rescue a person from the chaos, it must cost a lot. Otherwise, he would have helped the authorities solve it long ago. I think I can't afford the price required for Shadow to take action. However, Qin Xiaoyu's words did give Chu Yan an idea. She decided that no matter how much it cost, she wanted to try to see if she could save her parents. And the only one who could do this at the moment is Shadow. Of course, with her current identity, it is not so easy to contact Shadow. Fortunately, she knew Jia Xiaomei in the Sky Guild, so she could still give it a try. No matter what conditions Shadow puts forward, I can do it. Chu Yan bit her lip lightly. Then she glanced at Qin Xiaoyu across the wall and left the last sentence. Although I don't know why you have come to this point, I can't help you. Take care of yourself in the last time. After saying this, Chu Yan got up and left. Wait. Leave me some life first? 50 days no. 50 hours. 50 hours is also fine, Qin Xiaoyu shouted. But soon, the window on the wall was closed again, and her voice was completely blocked, and Chu Yan left without looking back. In the cell, Qin Xiaoyu collapsed in despair on the wheelchair. Looking at the cold metal wall, it seemed that there was an endless coldness coming towards her. The countdown of her life seemed to be getting faster and faster. There were 5 hours left. She only had 3 minutes left to live. She was getting more and more anxious. Her whole body felt like ants were crawling. Originally, Chu Yan's arrival gave her hope, but in the end, she was left with despair. Even her best friend no longer took care of her. Qin Xiaoyu was getting more and more desperate. She wasn't dead yet, but her whole body was already cold. Woo. Why? Why is this happening? I obviously changed my job to a hidden job, so I should be living well in this era. Could it be, without Qin Feng, I really can't do anything. From childhood to adulthood, Qin Feng has been helping me. Woo woo woo. I was wrong. I was wrong. Her hands in shackles began to slap the metal wall. Qin Feng, brother, save me. Save me. Anxious. Just a few hundred meters away from the prison, in a silver level hideout, there is a 3-story building protected by a defensive barrier. Inside the building, there is a monitoring room in the hundreds of cells in the prison. Each cell is monitored, because the prison is in a violent area with 100 times the life flow rate. The location for checking the monitoring is in a mild area, a few hundred meters away, which can save the life consumed by the guards. 3 official personnel are in the monitoring room, checking the situation of each cell. Suddenly, a bell in a cell rang. It's Qin Xiaoyu again. She doesn't have much life left. Right? Listen to what she wants to say. 3 official personnel, the staff sneered, looking at the cell where Qin Xiaoyu was, and turned on the communication. Qin Xiaoyu's weak voice came. I'm going to die. Can I eat something? One of the official staff calmly replied, we don't provide free food and drink here. You need to buy it with your life. Do you have a life? Qin Xiaoyu. Through the surveillance screen, you can see that Qin Xiaoyu is a little confused. This is different from the impression. Didn't you say that you can have a good meal before you die? Poor her. She hasn't even had a good meal recently. Because she can't get the Book of God, so she can only buy food from outside and be made a profit by the middleman. And because she wants to save her life, she hasn't eaten meat for a long time, which seems very pitiful. I thought I could have a good meal before I died, as a result, and I still want life. Qin Xiaoyu was in a dilemma. I should have used the remaining life to buy something delicious. Woo-woo! But even if I buy food, I won't have the life to eat it. More and more desperate, more and more despair. The 3 officials in the monitoring room ignored her until more than a minute later. They looked at Qin Xiaoyu's cell again. They found that she was struggling in the wheelchair and had fallen on the cold ground of the cell. Her hands were still trying to push open the metal door of the cell, and her head had tilted over. As her life completely passed, her heartbeat stopped. And what shocked the officials was that not long after Qin Xiaoyu died, her body became somewhat translucent. Then it turned into a ball of white light and completely dissipated from the cell. Player Xiaoyu entered the Land of Judgment. When this system prompt came, Qin Feng was having dinner with the ghost in the restaurant of the Pure Soul Land in Tianzhu country. Qin Feng captured more than 200 people into the Judgment Land, and then the other side reacted, and many strong men went offline, making Qin Feng temporarily lose his target. Qin Feng was feeling a little sorry. Unexpectedly, Qin Xiaoyu entered the Judgment Land. As long as she dies in reality, she will be automatically sent to the Judgment Land. Is she dead? Qin Feng didn't take it seriously. Let's eat first, and talk about it after eating. In front of him, there was hot pot, steak, and all kinds of vegetables and fruits. This casual meal was something Qin Xiaoyu hadn't enjoyed for a long time. Most importantly, there was a girl named Gui Ling next to the table. In reality, she had nothing to do, so she just wore a simple short-sleeved shirt and sweatpants, giving people a very relaxed feeling. This girl has already regarded the Pure Soul Land as her home. For Qin Feng, there was no Qin Xiaoyu around him, but there was a Gui Ling. But the two can be said to be completely different. Gui Ling, this little lolly, not only does not need Qin Feng's care, but is also not nosy at all. Even, teacher, I'm done. Is there anything I need to do? She respectfully put down her bowl and chopsticks, and naturally a mechanical maid came over to take away and organize the tableware. Giling felt that Shadow hadn't told her much recently, which made her a little strange and uncomfortable. If she didn't do something for Shadow, she would feel uneasy, since you asked that when you level up. Go to the ruins of Dongdu in Sakura country? Qin Feng thought for a moment and said, by the way, observe the movements of the Key Guild for me. By the way, do you know the language of Sakura country? The ghost lowered his head a little ashamed when he heard this, and then shook his head. If you don't know, you can learn, Qin Feng said. I will send Shamia to the ruins of Dongdu to keep you company. She knows the language of Sakura country. You can communicate with her while leveling up. The ghost cannot be transferred across borders in the godforsaken game if it is not level 30, but you can go directly to Dongdu, the capital of Sakura country, in reality, and then apply for in-game regional transfer, although the lifespan consumed will be a bit more. But for Qin Feng, this lifespan consumption can be ignored. After all, this action in Tianzhu country is definitely a great harvest for Qin Feng. The basic lifespan reward for the legendary boss is 500 years. The mythical level Flower Curse can be used on corpses to gain an extra 5 times life bonus. The Hand of Greed can give nearly 18 to 20 extra bonuses, all added up. A legendary boss can bring Qin Feng at least 36,000 years of life bonus. Counting the more than 200 strongmen killed in Tianzhu country, Qin Feng now has a total of 248,000 years of life in stock. It's a pity that there will be no system prompts after killing NPCs like the Killing Executioner, and no life or loot will be dropped. Qin Feng is a bit pity. However, the godforsaken game does not actually encourage players to kill NPCs, so this setting is also normal. In the previous life, players basically just united to kill some disgusting NPCs. As for ordinary NPC, no player would have any idea, because even if they tried their best to kill them, there would be no reward. And with so much life in Qinfeng's life, it's nothing to send the ghost to the ruins of the east capital of the Sakura country and consume hundreds of years of life. On the contrary, as long as he can keep an eye on the Key Guild and find out the whereabouts of the NPC, everything is worth it. For Qinfeng, the old scourge Snake Fang has been obtained for a long time, but he has never been able to use it. This thing is very effective. It clears all the upper gauges on the body every 5 seconds, and it does not occupy the equipment position. In the mid to late combat, it is definitely a magic weapon. As for Qinfeng's arrangement, Guiling completely obeyed unconditionally, although he did not have a good impression of the Sakura country. But Guiling only went to the ruins of Dongdu in the game, and in reality he was still with Qinfeng in the Pure Soul Land, so she did not think there was any problem. Carrying the Deathwing feather given to her by Qinfeng, she always felt that Qinfeng was too good to her. If she didn't help do something, she always felt uneasy. Looking at the well-behaved look of the little girl, Qinfeng couldn't help but sigh. People are still different from each other. Shamiya, send her to Sakura country. Here is the map. When we get there, I'll go into the game and summon you to accompany her in Sakura country. After dinner, Qinfeng brought the ghost spirit to the East Sea and summoned the snake girl Shamiya. Shamiya nodded. The ghost spirit jumped onto her shoulder, and then the snake girl went into the water and swam towards Sakura country at a very fast speed. Under the permanent invisibility effect of Qinfeng's merge into the darkness, they will arrive at Sakura country silently, and Qinfeng returned home. Qin Xiaoyu has entered the Judgment Land. Then, her memories of the previous life should have merged with her. Can she be judged? Qinfeng was looking forward to it. Of course, he still remembered Ashashi's reminder. Qin Xiaoyu's sins are too serious. If he wants to judge him, he will need a lot of divinity. Hainfeng may not be able to judge him now. Fortunately, I just collected so many masters from Tianzhu, those people should be able to provide a lot of divinity limit. Right? As long as the divinity limit reaches 1/10 of the judgment requirement, the judgment can be launched. 10 times of divinity can be replenished to the limit. But if the divinity required for the judgment exceeds 10 times the divinity limit, the judgment cannot be launched. At this time, Tianzhu, the capital Delhi ruins. As masters were killed by Qinfeng one after another, the entire Delhi ruins fell into chaos. Especially Master Basil's Confession Guild. Come and pay your lifespan to save the master. I donated 5 years. I donated 10 years. God, Bazaar bless me, I donated 50 years. Brother, are you throwing all your belongings in? For Master Bazaar, I have no choice but to do it, because Bazaar can absorb the killing value from people. The scale of the Confession Guild is very large, and there are many sub-guilds, branches, etc. When people heard that Master Bazaar needed lifespan to be resurrected, they all rushed over. Those who donated more hoped that Master Bazaar would value them. So, more and more players gathered around Master Bazaar's body. Just when people donated more than 10 million years of life buying money, and expected Master Bazaar to come back to life, suddenly, boom! Master Bazaar's body finally died completely, and his body became like a bomb, exploding at the moment of death, killing thousands of believers around him on the spot. Then, his body disappeared, and he did not resurrect, nor did he reappear in front of people, because, at the moment of his death, he was taken to Qinfeng's place of judgment. So far, Qinfeng's Chenzhou operation has been successfully completed. The next thing is the trial. Qinfeng heard the system prompt that Master Bazaar was sent to the place of judgment, and entered the place of judgment calmly while he was conducting the trial. From the chaotic Tianzhu country, a terrifying rumor gradually spread to all parts of the world. Shadow, the world's #1 from Daxia, actually killed a killing executioner. No matter who heard this news, everyone in the world felt a chill and incredible feeling.